We've got structure, we've got data. Now let's bring it to life on screen. In this video, we are connecting the dots from XML to live data on screen. We are going to render a real list of users pulled from our Laravel backend using a familiar master detail layout in UI5. Let's head over to the code. OpenUI5 is MVC based, meaning every screen is made up of a view, a controller, and the model. Let's have a look. We head into the resources app view, and here you can see the app view. You can see here the controller name. It gives already, or it hints the user's controller app. So here we have the app, the controller for that, and the model, you know already, lives in the backend and is represented by the $metadata URL that we already saw. So just to make sure everything is here, load the metadata. This is the model, and you will see in a minute how to bind to that model within our user's app. Well, one more important thing, like the controls that you see used here within that XML file, they are all mounted to the namespace sub.m, meaning app, page, illustrated message, and many other controls. They all belong to the namespace sub.m, which is bound to the root namespace of that XML file. In contrast, there you can see the MVC, the view, is mounted to the MVC namespace, but we don't bother much about that. By the way, if you're asking where do I get the information on what controls are available, what properties do they have, what aggregations do they have, there is a very well documented homepage called sdkopenui5.org, where you can get every information that you need to do your stuff. It's like a common documentation about the most important aspects of the framework, but then you have also the API reference. And let's go, for example, for the app. What do we have here? You can see it's very well written, and every tiny bit of information that you might need you can see here. And what's even better is, not with the app control, but maybe with the split up that we are going to use in a second, you see control samples. So this is the fourth tab over there, and then you can go into and you will see a live presentation of how this control is working. Yes. And you can go also dive into the code to see, okay, how is this done? You have here the view, you have the controller, and also how it is mounted together via the manifest. Okay, I provide the link in the details about that video. Let's go back to our code. What you see is a declarative UI. So we are not writing JavaScript to create or render elements. We are simply describing the structure of the screen in XML. And at runtime, UI5 takes this XML and turns it into real, fully interactive HTML components, styled, accessible, and responsive out of the box. That's the essence of a view in OpenUI5. It's clean, expressive, and easy to reason about, especially when you are building large-scale business apps. Okay, let's take this further. To enhance the view, we are starting by swapping out the basic app container in our app view and replacing it with something more powerful. We have already seen this. We call this like split app. The rest can nearly stay the same, but it's the same namespace. This should do the thing. And the split app, we can even go to to the documentation just one more time. API reference split app has two aggregations that we are about. It has the detail pages aggregation, which will be presented on the right side, and it has a master pages aggregation, which will be presented at the left side. So what's the good thing about this is it handles the responsiveness out of the box. On a tablet or desktop, you see both master and detail side by side. On a phone, we will do this later on, it'll switch to a stacked navigation model automatically without you needing to do anything. The layout itself takes care of navigation between the two areas, which makes it perfect for quickly prototyping or building real-world UI5 apps with minimal overhead. Later on, we'll connect to the controller to make this interactive, but for now, we are staying in XML land. So let's head over to code again. As already said, this will become the detail pages aggregation, a page within that, and we need also a master pages aggregation to contain some content. Yeah, compared to blade slots, what is an aggregation in UI5? Aggregations in UI5, they are really comparable one-to-one with blade slots. The parent defines the spot and you decide what lives inside. This already gives us a clear idea on how to craft views. So now let's go inside the master pages and add a page for our users. Page, I would say title, we say users, and to be honest, we don't need the name the content aggregation within pages, but it's good practice to always do this so that you know where you put your stuff into. And now we just say, okay, we want to have a list, and we need this to give an ID. We say this is the users list, and we say the items that should be displayed within this list. Where do they come from? They come from our model, and it's the users. Yeah? And the mode, because list also serve as some selection means, is we call it single select master. Rest assured that you can always look up what those things mean in the documentation, and every list needs to declare its list item. Oh, come on, this is the list item, which has a title property, and we take that for the username, and it has a description, and we take the email address, for example, because this is available information with users, and we close that tag, and that should it already be. So just to be clear, the items user here, this is how you bind the backend data model, the users table, to this list. And it tells the front end, well, loop over all entries in the users collection and make a standard list item for them, where you take the name for the title and the description, you take the email. So let's have a look at that. How does this look now on our page? Here we have nothing new. So Why don't we see something here? Let's go to the developer console, network, and of course, because I did forget to mark the deactivate the cache, then of course the browser takes only what it has, and now you can see already we are kind of in a responsive mode. The navigation was like switched out, but it is already responsive. Let's have a look. This is a neat little thing. You don't have to think about it. It just works out of the box. Okay, and from here on you see like those two-sided thing. Okay, and what we see here down is the call, the binding that our OData call is emitted by OpenUI5 automatically. So it has this header, batch request, and you can see here inside what is included in this batch, and it says the users. And remember, when we here instead of metadata go into users, show me the first users, but now you can see there is no users in our database because we have a fresh installation of Laravel, so we first have to provide some users. Okay, let's stop this PHP artisan tinker, and we say user factory, and I think it was create now count. Let's say we take 100 and we say create. That should do the job. And we have now some users within the database, and let's have a look. Of course the website is not available because we stopped the server. PHP artisan serve. Here we go. And now come on, no route handler. And this is also typical when developing like that, because it is not user but it's the entity set, and the entity set always requires the plural, so users, and here we go, these are your users. So the OData model on the client within that app is emitting that call to the backend, give me the users, when you use it like that in your list. And there are also tables and other stuff you can do that. This is really nice, I would say. So let's show it live. Now we should see some users. We don't see because we have the typo within here. So with that corrected, now you should see. Come on, what's here? So just one more refresh, and now finally we see here our list of users. So remember, what did we do? We just created the split tab, added a master page titled user, and gave it just this one control list set. Items is the users collection, and that gives you that list over here on the left side. You didn't write loops, you didn't write any controller logic. This is just pure declarative XML. So, and this is all powered by Laravel, delivered over OData and rendered using native OpenUI5 controls. Just the view and the model working in sync. What's even more impressive, we didn't write a single line of JavaScript right now. No loops, no fetch calls, no set state, no watchers, and yet it just works. And that's the magic of OpenUI5. Out of the box, enterprise ready, and honestly kind of amazing. This isn't a UI kit, it's a full-blown opinionated UI framework designed to scale with you. The binding, it's beautiful. The structure, predictable. The result, rock solid. In the next video, we'll take this a step further. you'll see how easy it is to make this list searchable live as you type using just a few lines of controller logic. See you there.